Welcome to the Newsworthy. All the day's news in less than 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. Thanks so much for listening. Today, we're getting closer to another government shutdown, and President Trump gives marching orders. Plus, the Winter Olympics' latest hurdle, a Tesla cruises by Earth, and Star Wars has a new game plan. All that and much more in less than 10 minutes. I'm Erica Mandy. Today is Wednesday, February 7th. You ready? Let's do this. Another government shutdown deadline is looming again. This time, the shutdown will start at midnight tomorrow if lawmakers do nothing, and there's still no word of a definite deal. That said, there is at least some progress, and more is expected to happen today. So far, Fox News reports the House gave a thumbs up to another temporary spending bill, pushing the deadline back again to March 23rd. But it has to pass the Senate, and it's not clear at this point if it will. The Washington Post says instead, top Senate leaders are focusing on a different deal, one that would be long-term. So what's in that deal? More military spending, which is what the president wants, and more money for domestic programs, which is what some Democrats want. But still, no final handshake on this one, and the clock is ticking again. In fact, President Trump said, quote, "I'd love to see a shutdown if we don't get this stuff taken care of." He was talking about tightening immigration laws. Remember, a shutdown means those non-essential government programs and agencies just stop operating, and employees are furloughed. It's already happened once this year. So will it happen again? To be continued. President Trump says he wants a grand military parade. The Washington Post first reported that high-level military talks are underway about this, as the president apparently said he wants a march like the one in France for Bastille Day. The White House says, yes, it is true. The president wants it to be a celebration for service members where all Americans can show their appreciation. The Post says a parade like that can cost millions of dollars. But it sounds like it's still in the early stages. No date has been set. Another false alert went out. People along the East Coast this time got a tsunami warning alert yesterday morning that was not real. NBC News says the National Weather Service did send out a test alert message, but somehow that led to some people from Boston to Miami getting an actual tsunami warning message. The National Weather Service says it wasn't their system, but they are looking into exactly how this happened. Remember, this comes not that long after a false alert went out to Hawaii about an incoming missile. It wasn't real, but it caused a lot of real panic. There's a disaster in Taiwan. A powerful earthquake hit Taiwan yesterday. The BBC reports it was a 6.4 magnitude earthquake and hundreds of people are hurt. Reports say at least 4 people are dead and many more are missing. Many buildings collapsed. Even some buildings were leaning at dangerous angles. Rescuers are now working their way through all the rubble. So this is not great timing. There's a norovirus outbreak affecting at least 1,200 security guards in South Korea who were supposed to work during the Winter Olympics. CNN says the military has been deployed to help cover security for the games. Remember, we're just days away from the games now. The first events start tomorrow, and the opening ceremony is early Friday morning. It's not clear how the outbreak started, but most of the guards were staying in the same building. The water and food there are now being tested. All right, other things people may be talking about today. The world's most powerful rocket had a successful liftoff. SpaceX launched the Falcon Heavy yesterday for its first test flight, and it worked. A big milestone for the company. It was launched from the same site as Apollo 11, which took the first astronauts to the moon in 1969. On board the Falcon Heavy, billionaire founder Elon Musk's cherry red sports car. Of course, it's a Tesla, since that's another one of his companies. The car was launched into orbit around the sun with a mannequin in the driver's seat that's been dubbed Starman. A camera on board showed the Tesla in space, cruising by Earth, and the car will just stay in space for, potentially, millions of years. So, not a bad marketing ploy. The Verge reports the launch was YouTube's second biggest live stream ever, with millions of people watching. So what's the real point to all of this? Because the rocket's boosters are reusable, it means each liftoff is less expensive, even with this heavier payload, and it's lowering the cost of going to space. 2 of the 3 reusable boosters came back to Earth intact. Business Insider reports Musk said, quote, "It taught me crazy things can come true. I didn't really think this would work." There's a new game plan for Star Wars, and the guys behind it will be the same ones behind Game of Thrones. Variety reports the Game of Thrones creators will now be writing and producing a new series of Star Wars films. Same galaxy, different characters. And remember, their Game of Thrones responsibilities will end in 2019 with the series on HBO. Oh, and in a separate thing, The Hollywood Reporter says Star Wars TV series are also in the works. Disney is saving those for Disney's own video streaming service. Snapchat shares just skyrocketed. Bloomberg reports the parent company Snap just blew past expectations for user growth and advertising. It all comes after a big redesign of the social media app. And that's it. You are all caught up. Thanks so much for listening. And be sure to subscribe so you do not miss an episode. Of course, you can always read more about any of the stories that maybe caught your attention today at thenewsworthy.com. I linked to all the articles referenced. Click episodes and find today's date to see the links. The Newsworthy is ready for you every weekday by 4 a.m. Eastern. I'll be back with more news tomorrow. Have a great day.